Welcome to Rewind with Ellen, episode 24. Hey, Ro.
Hi, Ellen. How are you?
Listen, we've been gone for a minute. Now we back at the jump off like we never left. If you know that lyric, you know who said it. Do you know?
I have no idea.
It's our era of 90s music. Anyway,
Now back in the jump off.
we've been gone for a minute. Now we back at the jump off.
Been gone for,
Come on. Lil Kim. Okay.
I thought, you know what? I was gonna do little. Honestly, I was thinking about. I was like, but who quotes Little Kim?
Oh shit.
Sorry. Listen.
Thank you.
Before she did all this, I was always a fan. But now, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move on.
Because that's a whole different conversation.
I digress.
So just before we went live, we were talking about our long distance relationship that Ro and I have. And we haven't seen each other in 3 weeks because we haven't done the show in 3 weeks. So this is right. Like your hair's grown, like you're looking different. How are you?
I'm good. I don't know what's going on. This is a good summer. The summer just started. I'm in Dublin next week.
Ooh.
So I'm excited. Going for a wedding. Patty and Brian can't wait.
Okay, congrats, Brian.
Yes. So we're going over there to Dublin for a couple of days. That's it. How about you?
So the way my daytime life has been set up these past 3 weeks, they've been things that needed my undivided attention, a combination of work, like the work that keeps my lights on in my home, and also family. So I kind of had to, pivot and focus on that for a hot minute. But I certainly missed you, and I've missed this, and I'm glad that we're back this week, although we'll be taking a 2-week hiatus after this.
Because breaks on top of breaks.
Right. So travel day, right. So
maybe we'll do a go live, maybe we can, like during the week.
Say that again?
Maybe we'll do a live on Instagram during the week if we have any time, like on a night.
Yeah, we could do that.
All right. We'll talk about that, people. We'll give you some love.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like I said, I'm excited to be here, to be with you, Ro. Hey, Lisa May. Look at that.
Lisa May.
Lisa. Thank you for tuning in. So tonight's episode is a discussion about a film called Respect the Jokes. It's written and directed by G.H. Goba. I love that name, by the way. And it tells the story of a corrupted young man that ventures to the United States from Jamaica in quest of the American dream and forms a band of robbers to obtain it. Okay? And it has an interesting cast. It's an interesting mix, but I respect it. It's Jaime Lincoln Smith, Ciera Payton, and veteran entertainers Tony Sirico from The Sopranos, Robert Costanzo, Tobias Truvillion. Ed Lover makes a cameo. That took me by pleasant surprise. And it's currently streaming on all pay preview platforms. I watched it on Prime Video for the low price of what I think $6.99. Ooh. But you got to support. You got to support.
I paid $3.49. You paid $6.49. All right.
You got a discount, so that's a great segue, Ro, because you had the pleasure of attending the premiere, interviewing the writer director G.H. Goba, and also Jaime Lincoln Smith, the lead. So I don't know which story you want to tell first in the order that it came, but you take the floor.
I'll talk about in the order in which he came. So I met with GH and Jaime Lincoln Smith. First, what I do for any assignment, I kind of Google up the history of the people I'm interviewing. So I looked up Jaime Lincoln Smith, and he's been in a bunch of shows picking up. So this is his first lead. So I was like, oh, wow, this is great to like interview somebody as their first lead and see the energy they're feeling and all that. And then GH, the director, bro, he reminds me of like early Diddy / Damon. What was it? The Rockefeller Records.
Damon Dash.
Yeah, Damon Dash. He's got that kind of vibe. Like he's a hustler. He's He's definitely a hustler. So we go live, right? And we're doing the interview, and he's in the middle of Times Square, like just with his phone, like, yeah, what's up, man? How you doing? Yo, this movie's gonna be hot. And I'm like, yo, you're crazy. But so much positive energy for the brother. He was really excited, so excited. He's like, you know what? I don't need to be in a booth. I'm raw. Just like this movie's gonna be, we're gonna be raw right in the middle of Times Square. And he kept on saying, I'm in Times Square, baby, New York, tomorrow, premiere. It was a beautiful day in New York, by the way, that day. It was like 90 degrees. And then I also talked to Jaime Lincoln Smith. I have tickets now to the following day on Friday to the premiere. It's going to pour rain that day, but I'll get to that in a second. Okay. Yeah, torrential rain.
Oh, no.
So I'm talking about the movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, so all I saw was like a little previews. They gave me a couple of different previews to look at, but it was cool. I was like, okay, it had like a Belly vibe before, like a 2022 version of it. So now you can fix some things and tweak some things that Belly had but was missing. And so I kind of like that. I was like, okay, cool. Old school, got a vibe, got a feel. I asked him some interesting questions. You know, is this an immigrant story or is it an American story? And GH was like, it revolves around the American dream. And then I asked him later, what is the American dream? And Jaime Lincoln Smith led to like, you know, there's no such thing as the American dream, right? Do you really think about what America's about, especially now with all the chaos that's been going on lately, with the shootings and just, I mean, everything under the sun that's been going on in America. What is the real American dream? He's like, you should have a dream for yourself and what you want to attain. And so I would love to ask you, Ellen, you know, with your family, their background, coming over to the States, you know, that's what this movie is really about. Not, there's some gangster parts to it, of course. Yes, but just that involvement of, hey, moving a family over, you know, their mom leaving him early as a young kid. I mean, I can't even imagine what that would be or how that would make me feel, that my mom is going to a better place and how now I just have to survive, try to look after my sister, but also look after myself and my family so that I don't get killed. And then following the right people, right? Who has my best interest at heart? And what does it mean to survive when you actually get out of that and come to America? And so I love that there's a true story to talk about in like the American dream in terms of like, you know, people have an image of what it means. Like, hey, to come in here because you can make money, you can be anything you want in America, right? But, you know, who are you willing to become to get that? And so that's what you kind of go through at the end of the day. So we did the interview. Interview went great. Definitely check it out on blackfilm.com. It's also on YouTube right now. It's up, posted, good to go. I might do a preview clip after this interview. So we go into the day of the interview. I'm ready. Got my blazer on. I did a little jean blazer combo with a nice shirt. You know, had the umbrella ready. You know, looking good. I was feeling a certain way, so I was like, you know, let me have a cocktail before I go into this bad boy. Got my wristbands, got everything. They're like, we're setting up for shoot you really early, because that's what I did. I prepared. So we do at blackfilm.com. Prepare. So go and have, now this is right after what, Cinco de Mayo? Yes, the day after Cinco de Mayo. So I'm still feeling like a little tequila vibe, you know, and stuff like that. So I go to there's a little Mexican spot on the corner. I have a little drink cocktail because we still have time. I go back and get my ticket. It has become chaos.
What do you mean?
So in the movie theater, it is only screening in one theater. It is an old school movie theater, right? So there's 4 theater rooms,
okay,
but there's only one room for the screener. The max, I believe, is about 156 seats. Ellen, there's about 250 people here for this screener. Wow. Yes. All of Brooklyn came out. All of Brooklyn.
What's up? Okay.
It is what's up until you're trying to go and see the movie.
So, that reminds me of like old school going to the movies.
It was. Oh, God. I mean, all it was missing was the Timberland stomp down at the end of the night. That's all it was missing. But it was like, and you know, I was like, oh man, I let me just step out because they were getting everybody together and everything. She's like, you have your wristband, just come back in. We're gonna start the movie soon, so just come back, you'll be good to go. I'm like, you sure? Yeah, it'll be fine. Go across the street, have a glass of wine, chilling, looking at. I mean, now the rain is coming in sideways. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. Because at least the premiere was under an awning because of construction. So it was perfect. So the rain wasn't dropping on people. So they set everything up. People come in doing pictures and everything. A brother comes in with a wheelchair. Shout out to the brother who worked behind the counter for the popcorn. He actually picked the dude up because they couldn't get the wheelchair machine to work. So they pick him up. Two guys grab the wheelchair, right? It was an automated, it was a heavy mofo. I was like, really? Okay. The other guy grabs him up, takes him up the stairs.
Wow.
And then they bring him back up. So they were ready to go. They're like, yo, everybody's going to see this movie and have a good time. You got some free popcorn. Everybody's excited. We're about to go in here. I mean, the next level of people that have been to all the screeners before. Yeah, it's gonna be hot. It's hot. The chains were coming out, the bling bling, the furs, the boots. Everybody's ready to go. I stood in line for almost 30 minutes.
Okay.
I did not see the screener of the movie, ladies and gentlemen. Yes. You couldn't get in to the room whatsoever. I stood on those stairs for 30 minutes. I tried to do my best. My patience level was at a 2 at that point. And I was like, you know what? I'm not, because it was starting to, like, people were pushing in. Oh, that's my cousin. That's my brother. Yo, I got to get in there. Come on, man. I got to go in there. You told us you're going to be in there. And I was like, you know what? I don't want this to turn into actually what the movie is about. Not saying it would, but I don't want to take any chances.
You never know. You
never know. So I left. I did not see the screener. So that's why I purchased it and saw that. But again, I did feel the energy of Brooklyn up in there. I did feel the Jamaican energy up in there. I felt that too. So yeah, that was my experience. And now we can go into the film.
I get that. I do love that you asked the question to both director and lead, what does the American dream mean to you, right? I thought that was such an important and pivotal question. And to hear their responses, I mean, I could relate to that on so many levels, because it used to be the American dream was about opportunity, right? It was the land of opportunity. You come to do better, to have a better life, to bring your children and your family members, if you're an immigrant, over to the States, which is kind of the basis of this film. And you asked me like what it means to me. Now, when I was in 8th grade, I joined a contest about what America means to me in 8th grade. And I ended up winning. And I just remember just writing a bunch of stuff about opportunity, because at 8th grade, coming from Nairobi, Kenya, you're looking at America as like the holy grail. Like everything good comes from it. Like, you know what I'm saying? But now as an adult, it's more like the American nightmare, right? So it's hard to reconcile, I mean, given what we're living in right now, right? Okay. It feels like the American nightmare. The dream was never really a dream. But going back to what the two gentlemen said, it's what you make it, right? It's not this promise of what's been sold to us. It's what you make it. And it's how you go about getting whatever it is that matters to you to achieve your dreams and to support your family. So I really love that you asked that question. I love the energy between the three of you guys, and it was a really good interview. So y'all definitely check it out on blackfilm.com's YouTube page. It's a good interview. So right off the bat, for me, it reminded me of the 2002 film Shadas, which I loved. I can't tell you how many times I've watched that film in my day. And it's also a Jamaican crime film about two young men who participate in organized crime in Kingston and Miami. So there are definitely a lot of elements of Shadas in Respect the Jux. We've seen this template before, but I think what made it unique was Kat's storyline. Kat is the lead actor who's played by Jaime Lincoln Smith. I thought his origin and motivation and how he executed whatever it is he needed to do, I thought that was unique. Like, I think Jaime Lincoln Smith, this is my first time hearing about it. I'm a fan just based on his performance. And you mentioned that this was his first lead in a film. Like, he's done theater and he's done some other stuff. he's been lead on, but in the film world, this is his first role. So I'm excited to see like where his career goes after this. And he reminds me a lot of Ludacris. Did you pick up on any of that?
Yeah, and it's crazy, right? You don't really see the level of talent he has until you see the interview I do with him. He's like, "Oh wow, man, you're," and then he throws a little Jamaican accent in there. I was like, "Oh, you know." And then I saw the film later, so I was like, "Okay, all right, I respect that."
He's a cool cat. He's a cool cat, just as who he is as a human being, which maybe that's the reason they called him Cat in this film. I don't know. I just made that up. I also thought that it had some elements from Boys in the Hood, particularly the scene.
Yeah.
The kids are looking at the dead body straight out of Boys in the Hood. So I was like, okay, that's a nod, maybe. So it has all the interesting themes of a crime thriller, like survival, revenge, power, loss, betrayal. I enjoyed it. The first time I watched it, I was just kind of like, okay. I was watching it, but I wasn't like 100% paying attention. The second time I watched it, there were so many things I didn't catch the first time that kind of made me feel like, oh snap, okay, this is a lot more than kind of what I felt about it the first time around. I don't know what that's about. But I enjoyed it. What did you think? What?
It's so funny. No, I actually enjoyed the movie as well. I think there's something that's so raw about it, but it reminded me of growing up. Like, I went to Catholic school my whole life until my senior year. So I remember being the new kid in school my senior year. And I went from an all-white school to a very highly black school. And just the mix, and like my whole, like it was like a fish out of water. Just the way things were ran and how people kind of maneuver and stuff like that. And so you're just trying to survive, but also be like, hey, man, put some respect on my name. And so when you see him come to the country for the first time, you're like, oh, well, I related to a lot of that experiences. And then finding somebody that inspires you, right? That you have a crush on. And then he went into the military. They only go on that a little bit, but that's a huge part of like what type of man you become. And then what do you do after that? And I'm kind of disappointed when you touch on that more. How many people go into the military and then fight for our country or do something for our country, and then when they come back, they have nothing to come back to. And I think that there's like 5 different stories, really, in this movie, and where we can all relate to it. I think that's the biggest thing, right? You can find something, even if you don't like the character, you can definitely find something that you can relate to. Trying to help your mom out. I mean, everybody can relate to that. Family, bringing them together, trying to survive in America, on nothing, and trying to just, hustle in ways that you don't want to do, but because America's kind of throwing everything at you, or society is throwing everything against you, it's like, damn, I can't win. I try to do it this way, the right way. I get knocked upside my head. I try to be respectful. I try to be this and that. And every time I'm like, shoot, what's the point? I might as well just hustle and take the risk. And so that's what it comes down to. And that was heavily 90s and 90s hip hop, right? That's what it reminded me of, the big bubble coats and the boots. And brothers were gangster back then. The music was gangster back then. Like, all of that was like, yo, I'm going to steal your stuff. If you ain't about that life, protect your neck, watch your back, all this stuff. That was a Wu-Tang reference, by the way, protect your neck. But again, that's what it was all about. So I love that aspect of it. You have some good, solid senior actors that have been in the game for a while to kind of give you that balance, which was nice. And like I said, Jaime Lincoln Smith, he can act, man. The brother can definitely do it. The young kid, oh my God, Jamaica. Have you ever been to Jamaica?
Mm-mm.
So I've been to Jamaica. There's some weird, the people are amazing, but there's some weird places, and you're like, I don't know if I can make it. Because when you fly into Montego Bay, and then you get in a cab, like a van, it drives another 2 hours, so you get to Negril. And that's where I've been for like spring break and stuff. And so the kids, you ever hear the story, Chris Rock does a joke about it, like all these kids are jumping on your car, and then they're broke as hell, like jumping, please feed me, give me money. and then you get a Mai Tai as soon as you get to the hotel, like, oh man, that's not too bad then, you forget about that, once you get to the resort. And that's how it really is in Jamaica. You forget about that because we always, we think about Bob Marley, we think about just having, feeling good inside because I'm smoking some pot and everything's chill, everything's irie, and it's not everything's irie. Jamaica has a bad history as well, but the people themselves, the culture itself is made of love. And so I always tell people definitely go and taste the food, which is one of the most amazing, like a beef patty, a 2-hour beef patty. Like there's nothing like that ever. You're gonna order a lot of drinks, but a 2-hour beef patty. Normally we used to beef patties in America, but a beef patty in Jamaica is gonna take about 2 hours to get made. But when you get your beef, when you get your beef patty though, it's all worth it.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, Jamaican people, in culture, it's rich and it's beautiful. And you just automatically have a certain level of respect for them and their culture that's just like no questions asked. There were going back to a point that you made about him going to the Marines, the reason they couldn't like develop that more is because the movie's damn near 2 hours. Y'all didn't need to spend another minute on this film. It was long as hell. But I don't know that they needed to develop that story, right? They just needed to throw that in there to kind of feed his character and allow the viewer to see Cat as, I feel like that humanized Cat, right? Because he has this all other side, this whole other side, which reminds me of Franklin from Snowfall, right?
Yeah.
Gangsta. Let's not get it twisted. However, is it even safe to say he was thrown into this? Because at 11 years old, this little boy took it upon himself to roll up to the gangsters and be like, hey, how do I be a part of y'all? Like, what do I got to do? So that leads me to my next point. The two most pivotal scenes for me were that first scene when young Cat rolls up to the general and his boys, like the gang, the order. And he's trying to get in. And here are these grown-ass men telling this little boy who his mother just left him and his sister in Jamaica to go, set them up in America, right? So think about the mentality of a little boy who's without his mother. His father is dead. You're lost, right? You're willing to do whatever it is you got to do. So he kind of gets involved in this gang, and at the tender age of 11, he makes some serious moves. But it was that scene where you have these grown men telling this little boy what he has to do. And it kind of, it threw me off because I was like, these grown men were little boys at one point. Because now I'm thinking like the movie is real. These grown men were boys at one point. Were they told this same thing? Because the ease of them explaining to him, giving him a gun and telling him what he has to do to avenge his father, it was just too simple. It was just too easy. It freaked me out. But I thought that was great storytelling because it really shows you how it is, right? As it relates to gangs. The second scene that threw me for a loop, and this is a nod to the writing and the director, is when now Cat wants to figure out how he can learn how to be a gangster at 11. So where does he go? He goes to where the gangsters be, where the killers be. And it's this kind of yard with just these shirtless men. It's like prison. Like think of a prison yard and just all the, the imagery for me. It was the imagery for me because I think that alone, without any words, told a really good story of like what it is. And here's this 11-year-old boy that's trying to belong, and he feels in his mind like, let me go where the killers be at, so hopefully they'll rub off on me so I could make this next move so I can be a part of this gang at 11. Whew. So I know that was a lot. I went off on a tangent, but I thought that was told really well. And then when going back to the whole pursuit of a better life at the cost of the family that you have to live behind, that's a lot. That's heavy, right? Because as kids, what do you do depending on where you come from and your economic status and your environment? How do you survive? And then now you get to a point where you can go join your mom in America. which was sad in itself, right? Because Cat is trying to find a better life, trying to support his family, but then the ego and pride gets in the way, right? The dynamic between him and Sean, Sean wasn't the bully, but he was kind of the impetus of what made Cat like switch it all up, right? It was the reason Cat went to the Marines to stay out of trouble. So it was a lot of interesting dynamics that made this film stand out, and I was not expecting that.
Well, that one scene with his mom, he's like, don't hang out with Jamaican. No, but don't hang out with the white boys.
She knows. She knows. She knows.
I was like, so what do you want me to do? What do you
Right. Because she knows.
I was crying. I was like, it's such a mom. But growing up, from the country, it's like, hey, it's just one of those things, staying out of trouble, trying to do best by your kids. And it's tough, man. I think every story, it's like, I think growing up with a single mom, I felt this story so much. But I always think about, like, why didn't I go in that direction? I had all these things around me, but I just never got into that direction. And I want to thank my mom for having, my aunt lived down the block from me, and she had 2 kids, so that just helped. I had an outlet to go to. So I think a lot of times kids just don't have an outlet that's a positive outlet.
Right.
We just leave them with people, and we haven't even done a background on the people we're leaving them with, But it's just finding, like, hey, it's convenient to kind of leave them with them so I can do my job, so I can help my kids out. But you're actually hurting your kids more. And that's a whole nother conversation, I think, to have. I wish the only thing I wish reversed, I could have saw the movie and then had the interview with them after I saw the movie, because there's more questions I want to ask about that. Like, what did that mean?
I wondered why you didn't. Now I understand.
Yeah, I didn't have. Trust me, I would have.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, what are we doing? It's like, oh, we're gonna do it this way. I was like, okay. I was like,
you asked the right questions, to get out enough meat and potatoes to have an idea.
I'm learning every day. I just, Ellen's the best teacher out there, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's sweet. So can we talk about how young Ciera Payton's character looks? She played Karen, the Cat's love interest. That woman is almost 40. We know her from The Oval. She looks 16 in this film, and she was good too. She was good. I was also pleasantly surprised.
She should be good. She's playing a 16-year-old. She's 45.
She's now 45. Stop it. She's younger than 40. But the fact that she looked like, I don't know what it was, the hairdo, the makeup, the lighting. Not that she looks old outside of this film, but it took me a second to register, like, wait a minute, that's Ciera Payton? How is that happening? She did a good job. Also, I was pleasantly surprised to see Maria Lorraine. She plays Kat's sister, Carol, in the film. I follow her on TikTok because she does a lot of character improvs with Jamaican accents. So when I saw her, I had to rewind and go back and figure out who the cast. And when I realized it was her, I was like, okay. And I think she did a good job. Like, I believed her. I see her having an interesting career in film because she was good.
Well, that's tough, right? Because you want to say the Jamaican accent, and sometimes it can go really, really bad. And I applaud them. That's why I asked Jaime Lincoln Smith. I was like, he's like, no, man, that's my family. And then the accent came out. He did his thing. I'm not going to disrespect anybody, right? But that's what he did, and he showed that no, these are the roots. And so the pressure on you to take a role on like that, like representing not only your country but representing your people, your block. Right. That's the pressure like no other. He's like, I approach it like any other job, I just want to do the best I can, and I respect that answer. It was very humble moment for him, and I love that. GH was hyping him up so much, and I love that.
He did a great job.
Yeah, he was really had that humble pie, and those are the people that become superstars, man. The people that can really just stay in the moment and know that, hey, I'm just doing the work, and it doesn't matter what it is or who it's for. I'm going to do the same amount of work that I would do for Spike Lee that I'm going to do for GH. Right. And I love that that's how his mental is. And so that was beautiful to see that young brothers really, and that's what they were talking about too, is like the bigger picture of bringing us all together. And that is beautiful to still see as people are slowly coming up. Hey, man, I'm not forgetting about us. We need to make this better for us. There is still a problem versus like I've made it out of that pocket. I don't need to talk about your stuff anymore. I'm over here.
Yeah.
So I like that he's still down to earth. He's grounded.
Listen, I'm all about, and I appreciate humility, because humility keeps you grounded, and it makes you, relatable on so many levels. What I was shocked to learn about Jaime Lincoln Smith, which is completely unrelated to this conversation, is that he was engaged to Susan Kelechi Watson. She plays in This Is Us as Sterling K. Brown's wife in This Is Us. So I'm like, okay.
Oh, okay.
Jaime, I see you. I did pick up on some swag there on Jaime, which made me kind of be like, okay, I could get with that. So I think, I like him even more now. I'm mad I didn't know who he was prior to this film, but this is how we discover great talent. Was there any standout characters for you besides Jaime, of course, that were particularly of interest?
I mean, I guess the young kid, he was great. In Jamaica, he was really. I mean, that young kid. It's always tough when you start off. When you go back in time and you show the kid from the beginning, and so that really sets the. I believe in that wholeheartedly. That sets the tone for the movie, right?
Yeah.
So if you don't have your young actors in check, it can just be an awful movie, right? I'm like, oh God, no one can say this movie now. But he was great, and that made me. I was like, wow, I really feel for this kid, even though he did kill someone. I really feel for what he had to do and why he did it, and so that's hard to do and hard to come across. So shout out to them for the casting directors that really did a great. I mean, I know they filmed there, but I felt like I was literally sitting in the living room of Jamaica, and really got to feel that town. And so, which is reminded me of what's the movie in Brazil? It's a famous movie. I can't think of it right now, but
Not
sorry.
City of Gods.
Yeah. It did, because it was that rawness. I've been to Brazil, and that's not the side you see. So it's nice to feel that raw, authentic side of a country, and you do feel that, and you're like, oh, Jamaica, okay, all right. But you feel for the people, right? Like, how else do we survive here? What are we doing? What is the government doing? What are we doing? And there's a hustle. There's a hustle in every city, right? In every block, in every corner. It just depends who's on board with it, who knows about what's going on. And there was some tragedy with that too, right? The more and more you build up, so you want to get out of there and kind of start all over. And I thought about that. It's like, could I do something as so egregious as that as a young child, and then start my life all over in a new country? I don't know, right? It's
That's an interesting question, because I thought about, if Cat hadn't done that, obviously, like, what would his life have been like, right? Especially because it's not something he woke up and said that he wanted to do. The general said to him, if you want to be a part of the order, then you have to avenge your father. So when you think about, what's that saying? Corruption corrupts. It's some saying. I can't think about it right now. But how do you pivot away from a corrupt life of crime to do better? And then you're put in a situation where all you have to do is be corrupt, because anything else you got to do menial jobs, right? You got to be sweeping floors at the bodega. You got to be cleaning toilets. And then you see your peers riding around in Benzes, and they got the gold chains and the gold watches. So you're like, wait a minute, I come from a gang. I can just easily revert back to that to get where I gotta go. And so, while I appreciate the message in this film, I wonder if young, impressionable boys and girls are looking at this and feeling like, yeah, that's the way to go. That, that's how to do it, like glorifying this. So it's a weird.
I don't think it's as dark as it used to be. It definitely was. There was a time it was like, whoa, you couldn't go anywhere. I wore these Nikes today. I was like, I thought in my head, I was like, damn, if I go in the wrong neighborhood tonight, I'm gonna lose these kicks today. It's gonna be Yikes. But back in the day, it didn't matter where you were. It was like when AirPod. I was telling a kid the other day when iPods first came out. You don't understand these. I love my work. I have young kids. They're like 21, 25, and they're like, "Wait, what do you mean? Like, what was it? Dial-up? What was that?" I'm like, "Oh God."
Oh
But
wow.
anyway, yeah, it's a whole. Yeah, they laugh like. So you mean to tell me the phone was in a dock and it made a dude and like, oh God.
That's terrible.
But because they were talking about all the things that are happening on the trains and stuff like that, I was like, you guys don't understand. Like AirPods, the old school with the whole string and everything, like they would just snatch them from you right off your back. Like that was it. You got robbed right in front of you. Go give me your stuff. Like, what do you mean? I was like, yeah, you guys can hide stuff now. Back in the day, that was it.
Right.
Take it right off your person. Go about their business. Spoiled today. They don't know.
They don't know. They have no idea. And so I do appreciate the name of this film, Respect the
Yes.
Joke. Like
that's Google that. I had to Google that.
That's a gangster title. And basically respect the robbery, like respect the, the get, the whatever, hustle. The hustle, respect the get, respect. So basically Juck stands for like robbing somebody, like robbery. So that's the whole premise of this gang. They just robbing a whole bunch of high-end people.
And I think that is the American dream. It is to rob.
When you think about
oh, hold on. Did I do another
yes,
one?
You did. Yes, you did.
Did I just do a heroism? Oh my, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? It's been 3 weeks and I'm still on fire. Hold on.
You still got it.
I'm done. I still got it. Hey, all right. I'm done.
And so that's a dope play on words. And I'm sure GH, was kind of like, okay, it's kind of synonymous because in your interview with him, he brought up capitalism. Quite a bit.
Brother was going deep. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
You want to invest? You want to invest in the movie, brother?
And how everything just takes money. So like what are you willing to do to get this money? So this, this movie it's an age-old struggle between like the good, the bad, the ugly, and success and love, of course, and just survival of the fittest more than anything, and by any means necessary sort of mentality, which is kind of scary if you're coming from a corrupt background, right? And so when you think about all these shooters and these robbers, they don't give a F about you or me. All they care about is whatever it is they need to get from you. When you think about that mentality and what it takes to get there, that's horrific.
Yeah.
And so I bring this back to, this film did a really good job showing that. And also, telling the story of it all. And so Pusha T executive produced this, right?
Yeah.
Right. I love the relationship that seems to exist there between GH and Pusha T.
Yeah, that's my boy. I told him, hey, man, I got a movie idea. He's like, you know what you do? I got you. He's like, when that man says he got you, he got you. All right. Okay. All right.
We believe you. We
see you in the club. All right. I'm running away. Okay.
And Pusha T was the music supervisor. And I bring this up because the song that plays over the end credits, I have been playing that non-stop.
Really?
It's called What Do You Call It? And it's by T-Riffic, T-R-I-F-I-K.
You know what? I like that, T-Riffic.
T-Riffic, R-I-F-I-K. That song, goodness gracious. And so it's a hip hop album, but there's just an R&B vibe to it. But then, of course, T-Riffic is rapping on it at the end. But I've been playing that joint non-stop. So yeah, definitely check out and support Respect the Jokes. Yeah. I mean, on a scale of 1 to 5, what are you rating this, Ro?
We're doing this right now? We're really going to do this right now? We're going to rate this on a scale of 1 to 5. Yeah. I give it 3.5.
Okay.
On a 1 to 5 scale. It's a 1 to 5 scale. 3.5.
And that's based on what?
The ending is it was tough for me.
What? Okay. As in, it could have been different. you without revealing the ending.
Yes,
Okay.
the lead up to the ending.
Gotcha. Okay.
I feel like I needed something different there. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. I'm gonna give it a 3.5 progressing to 4. Only because progressing to 4 only because it's a culmination of the writing, the music, the acting, and the directing, like all of it together. I think it's a 3.5 progressing to 4. More so the storytelling. I thought the storytelling was dope. So
no, honestly, there's a moment that grabs your heartstrings. His mom. I mean, honestly, that was like I felt that, and so there are definitely some heartstring pulling moments in the film.
yeah.
And then the next thing is like, I'm like, okay, all right, so we're doing it. We're doing
it. Which I think was necessary.
Oh, it was, but it was just like,
yeah,
mix it up.
I feel you. Okay, well, yeah, respect the jokes. Check it out. Amazon Prime, HBO Now. I don't even know what HBO Now is.
I have no idea. I couldn't even find it on HBO Now. I don't even know. Now I know that I don't know where HBO is.
Yeah.
So Max.
Right. So thank you so much for tuning in. Just a quick reminder, we are on hiatus next week, in the week after possibly, but officially back the 16th.
16th, I gotta put that down. 16th. Okay, it's back. 16th. Okay, good.
Okay, all right.
I'll make sure. All right.
All right, it's been real.
Looking like a young Vivica A. Fox with your hand gestures. Boom, boom, boom.
Thank you.
Gotta say young, ladies and gentlemen, when you say somebody, you quote somebody who's a hot mess now. You gotta quote them at the young age. You gotta do that, because otherwise Ellen would have been like, really? Oh, really? Okay. All right.
It's funny.
Independence Day, Vivica A. Fox.
It's funny that you say Vivica Fox, because in my heyday, I got a lot of, you look like Vivica. Yeah, a lot. And I used to be like, really? Like, okay, that's
so dudes are just knocking down your door.
You know what it is. You know how it be. No, but a little something. Anyway,
I love humble Ellen. I love humble Ellen. She's amazing.
I just talked about humility.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, I like a little humility. That's what I do.
Oh my God, Lisa May, thank you for tuning in. Lisa says she'll be checking out the movie. Lisa, this is one of those movies you like because it's shoot 'em up, bang bang, gangster shit.
Lisa, send your PO box information. I'll send you $3.
Right.
You get a discount. I'll give you $3 off. Lisa, I'll send you $3.
All right, Ro. As always, love you. This was great. And look forward to next time.
Yes. Let me know if you want to premiere or talk. I think some things are coming to an end. So if you want to talk about that.
Ooh, what things are coming to an end?
Is Snowfall, I think that's coming to an end.
Snowfall ended like 2-3 weeks ago. 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing. I've been doing absolutely nothing, but not paying attention to stuff. But yes.
Okay.
Well, or maybe we just talk about where we are in lives and where Black folks are moving and where we need to move and where we need to be.
I think that's a good conversation.
Okay. All right. We'll talk about it.
It's irrelevant.
Be safe. We might go. Shoot, if you want to go live in Dublin, let me know.
Oh. So while you're in Dublin, I'll be in New York. So we're
that'll be a mix. And I want to frolic. I'm gonna frolic. I'm definitely gonna frolic. I'm gonna be one. This is the new thing on TikTok now. All brothers. So I might start a TikTok, and I'm gonna frolic. My first TikTok, I'm gonna frolic in Dublin. Nice.
Do it.
I think that's the way to do it, right? Just frolic. I'm frolicking.
Yeah.
You have no idea what I'm talking about. You have no idea. Do you know what I'm talking about at all?
Unless frolicking has a different term.
No. There are brothers that are running in fields and meadows and they're like, I'm frolicking. You've never seen this?
I saw one video about that.
Yeah, this is huge now. It's big.
Okay.
It's big. It's huge. Okay.
So you're gonna frolic through a field in Dublin? Is that what you're saying? And you're gonna go?
It might be a cliff because a lot of things it just goes to cliffs.
But there's a lot of open greenery.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to find that field.
Right.
And I hope they're not like, this is crazy black man running in this. We'll see.
Lisa says Dublin as in Ireland. Yep, this brother is going to Ireland for a wedding.
Yes.
Nice.
All right.
So
black wedding. It's a black wedding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Tough crowd here. All right. Tough crowd here at Black Film Next. All right. All right. All right. See you next week.
All right.
I'll see you.
Have a good night. Bye.